Hello everyone, this is Mr. Mahmud here. Today's revision is for the November 2021 GCSE Maths exam, and this is a calculator paper. This will be useful for your paper 2 and paper 3 exam. In the last revision we've seen the non-calculator version, so we've seen 40 questions. So I'm starting from question number 41 here. Some of those non-calculator paper questions could be useful for the calculator papers as well. You will find the paper on my website on www.mrmahmood.co.uk. I highly recommend you have a go at this paper prior to looking at the answers. You can use this video to help you with the answers once you've gone through the paper. So let's go ahead and get started. Make sure you have your calculator ready as well. So question number 41, here is a four-sided spinner. The table shows the probabilities that when the spinner is spun, it will land on 1, on 3 and on 4. Now we know that the probability adds up to a whole or a 1. So we know if you add 0.2, 0.4 and 0.1 all together and take away from 1, that will give us the answer, or probability of landing on 2. So let's go ahead and do the working. So 0.2 added to 0.4 added to 0.1, that gives us 0.7, and we take away from 1 take away 0.7, which is 0.3. So the answer is 0.3. Don't forget to write the answer on the dotted line. Which number is the spinner least likely to land on? So looking at the probability, let's have a look which one has the, let's write the answer here first. Which one has the lowest probability or chance of landing? So we can see 0.1 is the lowest probability, which is 4. So it has a very low chance of landing on 4. So the answer is 4 because it has the lowest probability, and that's worth 1 mark. Jake is going to spin the spinner 60 times. Work out an estimate for the number of times the spinner will land on 1. So first of all, let's find out what the probability of 1 is, which is 0.2. So all we have to do is multiply 60 times by the probability 0.2, and that will give us the answer of 12. So the answer is 12. Sorry about the noise, the sons are running a riot in the background. Question number 42, plotting a quadratic graph. Now for this question I will highly recommend you to have a look at my GCSE Maths calculator hacks video. You will find out the easiest way to plot the table, which takes less than a minute, and then plot the graph. Okay, well I will go ahead and write down the values here. Now if you're doing the values without the calculator, but I would highly recommend you use a calculator. You could possibly use do the non-calculator way. So all you have to do is substitute the values in the place of x. Okay, so first of all we got minus 3, so minus 3 squared minus 4, and minus 3 squared we know is going to be a positive 9. Put a bracket on if you want. So 9 take away 4, which is 5, so the first value is 5. 0 squared take away 4 is minus 4, and then 1 squared take away 4, which is 1 take away 4, which is minus 3. Minus 3 here. Got the values here. All we have to do is plot the graph now. So x minus 3, y is 5. So we have minus 3x and y is 5. So we're going to go all the way up to 5. Minus 2, 0. Minus 2, 0. Minus 1, minus 3. Just double checking the values. Minus 1, minus 3. Go all the way up to here. Then we have 0 minus 4, 1 minus 3, 20, which is here, and then 3, 5. Now because it's a quadratic graph, you're going to join up the dots, the coordinates freehand, so try to make it a smooth curve. Make sure you go past all the points, and that's the graph plotted, which is y equals x squared minus 4. So that's our graph, y equals x squared minus 4. And this is worth 4 marks. 2 marks for the table and 2 marks for the graph. Question 43. A container is in the shape of a cuboid. The container is 2/3 full of water. A cup holds 275 milliliters of water. What is the greatest number of cups that can be completely filled with water from the container? Okay, so first of all we need to work out what the volume is, how much water the actual container can hold. So we can go ahead and multiply 30 by 19 by 6. And let's work it out on my calculator, which is 30 times by 19 times by 6, 3,420 centimeters cubed. Just double check that all the units are in the same unit, so you don't need to change any of them. 2/3 of the container is full, so we need to find out 2/3 of this volume. So we'll find out 2/3 of 3,420 divided by 3, and then times it by 2. 2,280 centimeters cubed. What is the greatest number of cups that can be completely filled with the water from the container? So each cup holds 275 milliliters. So what you could possibly do is you can change the 2,280 into milliliters and divide by 275, and that would be one way of doing this, and that will give us 2,000. Well, we can divide by 2,280 divided by 275. Already got the value in my calculator. That will help us save some time. So $8.290. So 8.290. Now, how many cups? Full cups. Greatest number of cups, so full cups is 8, so the answer is 8 cups. Okay, so that's the answer, 8 full cups. Don't forget to write the answer on the dotted line, and that's worth 4 marks. Right, 7,357, go to 3 significant figure. So we got 1, 2, 3 significant figure, draw the line. Oops, a bit too long. So draw the line here, so the number after the line is, let's write it out here, be easier, so I try out nice and big, 7,357, 3 significant figure, so 1, 2, 3, draw the line after the third significant figure, got the number after the line, it is 5 or over, so we need to add 1 to the 5, that gives us 7,350, 7,350 is the answer, rounded to 3 significant figures. Work out square root of 17 plus 4 squared over 7.3 squared. Write down all the figures on your calculator display, so we need your calculator for this one. So use the fraction button, the top left, if you're using a Casio calculator. Then press the square root button, then type in 17, add 4 squared. Press the down arrow button and then type in 7.3 and then the square, and that will give us 0.107781356 and asking you to write down all your figures on the calculator display, so don't forget to write down all the numbers, and this is worth 3 marks. Question 45. By the way, if this video is helping you, please do give it a like, and don't forget to share with your friends who can also benefit from this, and let me know in the comments if it's been helpful. Now, question 45. Here is a shape made from rectangle and a triangle. Work out the total area of the shape. So let's go ahead and work out the area of the rectangle first. So 9 times 15. It's a calculator, so don't waste your time doing the calculations. Make use of the calculator. Centimeters squared. Then area of the triangle. Now we don't know what the base of the triangle is, so we need to work out the missing length of the base, and also the height possibly as well. So the base is going to be 15 take away 7. That will give us this empty space here. So 15 take away 7 is 8 centimeters. So let's make a note here, 15 take away 7, which is 8 centimeters, and that's how we got this length here. And to find this length here, we need to take away 9 from 22. So 22 take away 9, which is 13 centimeters. So that is 13 centimeters. Okay, so now let's go ahead and work out the area of the triangle now. So base is 8, well, half, times by base, times by the height, and that gives us, I like doing simplifying first. 2 goes into 8 4 times, 2 goes into 8 4 times, and 4 times 13 is 52. Just double check your answers using a calculator and add 52 to 135. That's your final working now. 135 add 52. I had a number saved on my calculator, I just randomly added it. So always double check your values, centimeters squared, and that's the answer. So don't forget to write your answer, final answer, on the dotted line. Units already given. Okay, and that's worth 3 marks. Question 46. The diagram shows a square ABCD of side 8 cm inside the circle, center O. The vertices of the square lie on the circle. Work out the total area of the 4 shaded segments. Give your answer. Correct 3 significant figures. Okay, so we need to work out the total area of the 4 shaded segments, these bits here. Okay, now first of all we need to work out the area of the square. That would be the easiest thing to do. So let's work out here. So the area square, so area of square is 8 times 8, because side lengths are the same, which is 64 centimeters squared. The area of the circle, then we can take away the area of the square from the area of the circle, and that will leave us with this segment, or shaded segments. Area of the circle, we need to work out what the radius is first, because we need to use pi r squared. Now we do know that area, oops, there we are again. So we do know that this length is 8 centimeters. Okay, so we can possibly work out what the height is, and if you can find what this is, and we can just use maybe Pythagoras to work out the radius. So let's label this as radius, and let's label this radius. Okay, so these two are radii of this circle. So we can say this side squared added to this side squared, so this is radius and radius. So this side squared added to this side squared will be equal to the longest side squared. So r squared plus r squared is equal to 8 squared. Now let's solve for r now. So 2r squared is equal to 64 divided by 2 both sides. R squared is equal to 32, and then r is going to be square root of 32, which is square root of 32 on the calculator gives us 5.656. Now I want to leave it as square root of 32 here, and I'm going to use this as the value when I try to work out the area of the circle. So the radius is square root of 32. So let's write this here. Now let's find the area of the circle. So area of circle equal to pi r squared. So pi, I'm going to use the value of the calculator and pi. R squared, so it's going to be square root of 32, which is the radius, squared. Okay, let's go ahead and solve this. So pi times 32, square root of 32, that gives us, let's type this in the calculator. Now bear in mind, square and the square root both cancel out, so that gives us 32 pi. So we can just go ahead and find 32 pi, or you can leave it as 32 pi and you can just work out the calculator. On the calculator later, just take away the area circle, sorry, from square from the 32 pi. So I'm going to leave it as is, because otherwise I have to write lots of decimals, which becomes a bit more difficult to write and keep track of all the decimals. So the area of the square is 64 centimeters squared. So the square I'm going to take away from the circle. So 32 pi take away 64, and that gives us an answer of, let's type it on this calculator, so 32 shift pi take away 64. 32 shift pi take away 64, and that gives us an answer of 36.53096 and so on. And let's check the answer. It gives you an answer in 3 significant figures, so that rounded to 3 significant figures, so 1, 2, 3, so that'd be 36.5 centimeters squared. Okay, and that's your answer, and that's worth 5 big marks. Don't forget to write your answer on the dotted line, and that's the answer, 36.5 centimeters squared. Big question, just be careful. I make sure you do step by step. Question 47. A garden is in the shape of a rectangle, 90 meters by 60 meters. Flowers are grown in 40% of the garden. The rest of the garden is grass. Work out the area of the garden that is grass. So let's go ahead and work out the area of the garden. 90 meters times by 60. That's 5,400 meters squared. Just to name my head, 9 times 6 is 54. Flowers are grown in 40% of the garden. The rest of the garden is grass. Work out the area of the garden that is grass. So 40% garden flowers are grown in that. So 40% of 5,400. So 40% of 5,400. I can use a multiplier. So 5,000. Okay, we can do it 2 different ways. So that would be 5,400, 40% of 5,400 times it by the multiplier 0.4, and that gives us 2,160 centimeters squared. And all you have to do is 5,400 take away 2,160, which is 3,240 centimeters, meters squared, that is, meters squared. Okay, and 3,240, that would be the answer. The other way to do it is, if you want to cut some, like do a shortcut, because 40% of the area is grown flower on, so we know 100% take away 40, 60% of the garden has grass. So all you have to do is 5,400 times by 0.6, which is the multiplier, and that gives us 3,240. So that helps you cut down one step and get to your answer in just one simple calculation, 3,240 meters squared, and that's worth 4 marks. Question 48. The diagram shows right angle triangle and a quarter circle. The right angle triangle ABC has an angle ABC 90 degrees, and then the quarter of the circle, center C, and the radius CB. Work out the area of the quarter circle, give your answer to correct the 3 significant figures. You must show all your work and working. work at the area of the quarter circle only, not the whole thing. Okay, give your answer to 3 significant figures. Always good to underline the important information which you actually need. Okay, so first of all, this is a quarter circle. So to find the area of the circle, we need to find the radius. What's the radius? Okay, now we know we've got a right angled triangle, so we can use Pythagoras and use these two lengths to find out the missing length, which will be the radius of the quarter circle. So got the short side missing, so we're going to do 9 squared take away 6 squared, square root that, and that will give us, let's type it all in our calculator, 9 squared take away 6 squared, and that gives us 3 root 5. I'm going to leave it as root, so I don't need to write all these decimals. Okay, I find it easier that way. If you want, you can write the decimals, but make sure you don't round the answer until you get to the end of the question, because you need to round it to 3 significant figures. Now we found the radius, so radius is 3 root 5. So let's go and find the area. So area of the semicircle is pi r squared, because it's a quarter, divided by 4. So pi times 3 root 5 over 4. Let's type it all in our calculator. So shift pi, make sure you know where your shift button is, and the pi button, times 3 root 5, and then divide that by 4, a quarter of it, 5.2686, 5.2686, 11048. I'm just writing it all just to make sure I can round it later on. So 3 significant figures, so 1, 2, 3, draw the line, 5 are over, need to add 1 to the 6, that gives us 5.27 meters squared. 5.27 meters squared. Just double checking the answer. Just double check that. Got a slightly different answer on the mark scheme, just trying to figure out where I went wrong. So I've done 9 squared minus 6 squared, and then square root that, and we've got 3 root 5, that's absolutely fine. Okay, I know where I went wrong. Okay, that's a good lesson for you as well. I did not square the 3 root 5, the radius, so we had to square this here. So our answer will change now. Let's get rid of that. It's always good to go back and check your answer. So let's type this all again. So shift pi times by brackets 3 root 5, close brackets, and then square it. Close the brackets, then square it. Oops, showing me error, so I'm going to write it as a fraction. That's probably the best way to do it. So shift pi times by 3 root 5, close brackets, and then square it, down arrow, 4. Oh, showing me error. Okay, so maybe I don't need brackets. So shift pi times by 3 root 5 squared divided by 4, and that gives me an answer of 15 over 4 pi, or 11.78. still does not match with my answer. Okay, let's do some extra working here. So pi times square 3, which is 9, and root 5 squared is just 5, so 9 times 5 over 4. So shift pi times by 9 times by 5 divided by 4. That gives us an answer of 35, finally 35.34291735. Now let's go ahead and round it to 3 significant figures, 1, 2, 3, 4 after that. So we need to 35.3, because there's a 4 there, we don't need to add 1 to the 3, which is in meters squared, and that's the answer. Finally work to the answer, and that's the final answer for this one. Don't forget to write the final answer on the dotted line. A sprinter runs a distance of 200 meters in 25 seconds. Work out the average speed of the sprinter. Speed equals distance divided by time. Distance is 200. Time is 25. 200 divided by 25. I can do it in my head, which is 8, but still double check. 8 meters per second is the average speed. Question 50. Toby invested 7,400 for 2 years in a savings account. He was paid 4% per annum compound interest. How much money did Toby have in his savings account at the end of 2 years? So 7,500 is the original amount he invested, times by the multiplier percentage increase, which is 4%, so that would be 1.4 to the power of number of years, 2. And that will give us, so I'll write the formula here if you're not sure. So original amount times by multiplier increase, oops, so the multiplier percentage increase to the power of years. Okay, let's type this in our calculator. 7,500 times by 1.04 to the power of 2. 8,112, and that's the answer. Pounds. So 8,112 pounds. That's worth 2 marks. Harry, just one note on there. Make sure you show this working in your exam paper, because that's probably worth, will be worth 1 mark, and 1 mark for the right answer. Harry invests £5,000 for 3 years. He gets simple interest of 4% per year. Work out the total interest Harry gets. So he gets 4% of interest, so multiply 0.04 times it by the original amount, which is 5,000. So basically working out simple interest. So the interest is going to be 0.04 times by 5,000, which is £200 per year, and he gets it over 3 years. So that would be 3 times 200, which is £600. It says work out the total interest only. So the answer is £600, and that's worth 3 marks. 3 easy marks. Question 52. ABD is a rectangle. ED is 8 centimeters. And BDC is a right angle triangle. BC is 4.5 centimeters. ABC is a straight line. The area of the rectangle ABD is 40 centimeters squared. Work out the area of the triangle BDC. So we got the area of the rectangle. So what we could possibly do is we need to find out the other length of the rectangle, this one, which will be the same as this one, and then we can work out the height. And once we work out the height, we can work out the area. So because we got the area of the rectangle, we can divide it by one of the lengths, which is 8, which is going to be 5 centimeters. So the length is 5 centimeters. This width here, the height of the triangle. Now let's go ahead and find the area of the triangle, which is half times by base 4.5 times by the height, which is 5. And let's work it out on a calculator. That gives an answer of 11.25 centimeters squared. 11.25 centimeters squared. Okay, so that's the answer for this question. 11.25 centimeters squared. That's 3 marks. 3 easy marks. Work out the reciprocal of 0.125. So reciprocal is 1 over 0.125. Now because the decimal there, we need to get rid of the decimal, so we need to multiply by 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1000. Multiply the top by 1000 as well. And that will give us 1000 over 125. Now we need to simplify this fraction. A good way to simplify a fraction is to press the fraction button on your calculator and type in the fraction and press the equal button, and that will give you the simplified answer. Or 1000 divided by 1.25 is 8. Okay, and that's the answer. That's 1 mark. Here's a rectangular prism. Work out the volume of the prism, give your answer to 3 significant figures. Work out the volume of the prism. You need to work out the area of the cross section, which is a triangular shape, triangle, and then multiply by the length, 18 centimeters. The problem is we don't have the base. You need to work out the base, so you need to use the Pythagoras theorem. So 8.4 and 7.2, one longer side and one shorter side given, so we need to square 8.4, take away 7.2 squared, and then square root that. And let's type it all in calculator. Square root first, then 8.4 squared minus 7.2 squared. That gives us an answer of a really long number. Let's leave it as square root. 6 root 13 over 5. And all I have to do is now work out the area of the triangle. So half times base is 6 root 13 over 5 times by the height, 7.2. 0.5 times by 6 root 13 over 5. You can work with decimals if you want as well, times by 7.2 if you find that easier. So that's 15.57, 15.57, 598151. Don't round your answer until the end of your question. Otherwise you'll be ending up rounding it twice or even 3 times. Now let's multiply the area of the triangle, which is 15.57598.151. Multiply that by the length of the prism. So I've got the answer saved on the calculator, times by 18. That gives us 280.3676672 centimeters cubed. So rounded to 3 significant figures, so 280, number is 5 or less, so I leave it as 280 centimeters cubed, and that's worth 5 marks. And that's the answer for this one. Standard form question, give your answer in ordinary form. So work out 13.8 times 10 to the power 7 times by 5.4 times by 10 to the power minus 12. So when you multiply the number by number and the power by power, power of 10 by the power of 10. Okay, so 13.8 times by 5.4 times by 10 to the power of 7 times by 10 to the power of minus 12. So let's work out the first bit. So 13.8 times by 5.4, that gives an answer of 74.52 times by 10 to the power 7, take away well, times by 10 to the power minus 12. 7 take 12 minus 5, 10 to the power of minus 5. Minus 5 is going to move the decimal 5 places to the left. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0.0007452. And that's the answer, 0.0007452. I didn't bother changing it into standard form again, this bit here, because the answer is asking you to write down as ordinary number. That's 2 marks. Work out the value of 3.1 to the power of 4. Get your calculator out. 3.1 to the power of x to the power of power, and then type in 4 in the power. And that gives 92.3521. 92.3521. Next, p to the power of 3 to the power of 2, which is 3 times 2, which is p to the power of 6. Simplify t to the power of 8 divided by t to the power of 3, so 8 take away 3, which is t to the power of 5. So divide, take the powers, multiply, add the powers. If you've got a razor power, like this one here, you times the both powers. 2 cubed times by 2 to the power of n equals 2 to the power of 9. So we can write it as 2 to the power of n is equal to 2 to the power of 9 divided by 2 to the power of 3. That gives us 2 to the power of n is equal to 9 take away 3 is 6, 2 to the power of 6. So that's n equals 6. So n is equal to 6 because we've got the base the same as 2. And that's altogether 4 marks. 60% of the students at school walk to school. Work out the percentage of the students who do not walk to school. 60% walk to school, so we know 100% altogether. Take away 60, which is 40%. Easy questions. 40% of the students do not walk to school. Sometimes this type of question can get confusing and you might not understand it and might get it wrong. So always remember your basic information. Make P the subject. Okay, so let's write out the question first. P over R plus S. So minus S on both sides. So Q minus S is equal to P over R. Then times by R both sides. So R times Q minus S is equal to P. So P is equal to R brackets Q minus S. And that's the answer. 2 marks. And that was question number 58. You can expand the brackets if you want as well, but you can leave it as it is. It will give you QR minus SR. We'll still get the marks. Question 59. On the diagram above, draw a diameter of the circle. Don't have a ruler here, so I'm going to try and draw a straight line as well, as straight as possible. So diameter, that can be a diameter. If I draw a straight line through here, that could be a diameter. If I draw a straight line through the point, that could be a diameter. On the diagram to below, draw a segment of the circle, shade the segment. Okay, so a segment, just draw a line through here, which is not through the midpoint. You notice there is no midpoint in the circle, so it'll be easy to do a segment. So that's a segment here, this bit here. You can also draw it this way. That could be a segment as well. That could be a segment as well. Sector always goes from the midpoint to the with radius, 2 radiuses make a sector, so don't get confused with the 2. That's worth 2 marks. A tree diagram. Samina has a round pencil case and square pencil case. There are 4 blue pens, 3 red pens. In the round pencil case, there are 3 blue pens and 5 red pens. In the square pencil case, Samina takes a random 1 pen out of each pencil case. So she does not. Okay, random. She takes 1 at a random. Okay, so let's work out the first pencil case, a round pencil case and a square pencil case. On the round one, which is the first one, so work out the probability for these ones. 4 blue and 3 red. Altogether we have 7. So blue is 4 out of 7 and the red is 3 out of 7. And on the square pencil case, 3 blue and 5 red, 8 altogether. So 3 out of 8, which is blue, and 5 out of 8, which is red. It's the same pencil case, which is square pencil case, 3 out of 8, and then 5 out of 8. Work out the probability that the pens Samina takes are both red. So to work out the both out of red is going to be red and red going this way. So we're going to multiply 3/7 by 5/8, and that will give us an answer of 15 over 56, and that's the answer, 15 over 56. Okay, and this question is worth total of 4 marks. Change 1.5 kilometers to meters, so 1.5, 1000 meters in a kilometer. If you're not sure, use a calculator. Don't take any chances. Could miss out on a mark. 1500 meters, so that'd be 1500 meters. 1 mark. 37 centimeters cubed into millimeters cubed. First of all, find out how many millimeters in a centimeter. So 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. Okay, so 1 centimeters cubed is going to be length times width times height. Imagine the shape if it's in volume, so you're going to multiply them 3 times. That's going to be volume scale factor. So it'll be 10 times 10 times 10. So the volume scale factor is 1000. Now centimeters to millimeters, so going from big to small, so you're going to multiply 37 by 1000, which is 37,000 millimeters cubed. So 37,000 millimeters cubed, and that's the answer for this one. Question 63, 0.075 as a fraction. Give you a fraction in simplest form. So 0.075 over, that's going to be 3,000. So 75 over 1,000. So 75 over 1,000. So what do you need to times it by to make the 0.05 as a whole number? Okay, so that's 75 over 1,000. Like I said, if it's a calculator paper, if you type in a fraction, press the fraction button, type in 75 over 1,000 and press the equal button, and that will give you the simplified answer. Check out my calculator hacks video on GCSE Maths and you'll find all the different hacks with calculator. The answer is 3 over 40. So you don't need to go ahead and type in think about what number goes into it. It's a calculator paper, make sure you use the calculator. 0.23 as a percentage, so 0.23 times by 100, which is 23%. X squared, factorize x squared minus 169, so 13 squared is 169. Difference of 2 squares, we can write it as x plus 13 times by x minus 13. So x plus 13 times by x minus 13. Expand and simplify. I always say use the grid, which is easier to remember and easier to, well, don't easily make mistakes on the sign. So 3x plus 2 and 2x minus 1. So 2 times 3, 2x times by 3x is 6x squared. I was teaching this in class today. 2x times by 2 is plus 4x. Make sure you have the signs in front so you know what to write when you're adding them or subtracting them. Minus 1 times by 3x is minus 3x, and minus 1 times by plus 2 is minus 2. Let's write it out now. 6x squared plus 4x minus 3x minus 2. 6x squared plus 4x minus 3x is plus x minus 2. So the answer is 6x squared plus 4x, plus x minus 2. And that's worth 3 marks altogether. Okay, so that was the last question for this video. If you liked this video, please do give it a like if it helped you. And also don't forget to subscribe. And you can also check out the paper in my website. Okay, thank you too.
And I love you, Papa.
I love you too. Okay, good luck with your exam, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll upload the calculator paper 3 version hopefully sometime this weekend, because I know you got your exam on Monday, or is it Tuesday, someday, so I'll upload those ones as well. and I'll post the paper on my website as well.
Bye bye.
Bye. Mr. Mahmud, helping you do better in maths.